When I was a teen, I was pretty out of control. And I liked to act like I was scared of nothing. And I even started to believe it. That was until I got arrested for the first time. Not like arrested for fighting or ditching. Not that. It was something serious. It was a felony. I remember acting like it was no biggie until they took me to juvenile hall. And today, I want to talk to you about one vibe that fights to control us. And that vibe is fear. All of us have experienced fear in some form or another. It has kept us from trying new things. It's hurt our friendships. So here's what I want you to do. When fear becomes the vibe that takes over your life and starts to control how you act, I want you to do this. Name whatever it is you're afraid of. Put words around it. Name it so you can say it in prayer. And then write it down and put it in words in front of you. What has caused you to be so afraid? Then throw that fear to Jesus. And always remember, because of Jesus, fear doesn't have to be the boss of you. Jesus had a lot to say about fear. The problem is, we tend to read the verses where he talks about fear by themselves. For example, Jesus said, "Fear not." In the words, when it comes to fear, just stop and quit, not exactly helpful, right? So today, I want to look at a passage where Jesus talks about some of his close friends about fear. Jesus and his disciples are on a small boat in the middle of the water, and without warning, a storm shows up. Think about all the noise from the waves, wind, rain, thunder, and they were all in a boat in the middle of it. Not exactly a leisurely cruise. And what is Jesus doing in the middle of this crazy storm? Man, my boy's taking a nap. Can you imagine? The disciples were scared out of their minds, quite frankly worried about their lives, and their fearless leader was sleeping right through it. So naturally, they wake him up. Casually, they head over to Jesus and say this. The disciples are frustrated. They feel alone, and most of all, scared. They want their leader to calm them down, and he's sleeping. And how does he respond? In front of them, he was teaching them something. He was teaching them about fear. So he gets up, but he doesn't panic. No matter how scary the circumstance is, Jesus stays calm. Then Matthew says that Jesus spoke to the wind and the waves, and they calmed down. The disciples were amazed, and they responded by saying this. When they thought about what they just saw, this is unbelievable. The wind and the waves obey him? Now they weren't just amazed, they were afraid. Like, who is this man who can calm down a storm? He has such power, and he used it to take care of them. And he was never afraid. In a moment, their confidence in Jesus overwhelmed their fear of the storm. And that's the point of this field trip Jesus took them on, to show them their feelings of fear didn't have to control them or boss them around, to show them that there is someone bigger and more capable than they could ever imagine. All of a sudden, nothing seemed as scary anymore. Not because there was nothing to be afraid of, but because God was clearly bigger than their biggest fears. The thing is, we all know that fear will always be a part of our experience. Fear is a part of what makes us human. It will always be there to some degree. But we don't have to live like fear is in charge of us and telling us what to do. There's a guy named Peter who was one of Jesus' closest friends and one of those 12 disciples. He was there with Jesus during the miracles and the boat rides. He made a promise to Jesus that he didn't keep. He said there would never be a day that he would deny Jesus 3 times. He said he would stay focused on what Jesus told him was going to happen, but then panicked when Jesus was arrested. He said he would always be there for Jesus, but then hid in fear when Jesus died. Yeah, that guy. But after the resurrection, everything changed. Fear no longer controlled Peter. So he gave some tips about fear in a letter that he writes to Christians who had never had the chance to meet Jesus. And Peter says this. When Peter says cast, he means throw, hurl, or heave. These are active and intentional words. It means that it doesn't happen by accident. Be active with your fear. When you feel anxiety, fear, or worry, take it and throw it to Jesus. Why? This is the most important part. Peter experienced this firsthand. In the 3 years he spent with Jesus, we throw our fears on him because he cares for us. Remember it this way. Because of Jesus, fear doesn't have to be the boss of you.